Welcome back to Libertas. This is Tonino, Habana with our special guest, General Suchianco from the AFP Reserve Command. Before the break, I asked him, because reservists sila, they're part of the volunteer army of the AFP, the ultimate sacrifice that a soldier can make is to lay his life for the country. And I asked him, kayo bang mga reservists, lumaban ba kayo sa Battle of Marawi?
Okay. May mga reservists na pinatawag para the Army Reserve, no? Sa Army Reserve may mga pinatawag. I think one battalion was sent to help. No? Pero pag pinatawag na ng gobyerno yan, in times of...
how many is one battalion? How many soldiers is that?
Siguro mga 500.
500. So 500 reservists were asked to fight in the Battle of Marawi.
I don't really remember the number, but yes, something like that. No? But they came from the Army Reserve and they were sent there. But they did not do, while they're in the conflict areas, I believe that they were asked to help in the, outside the battle area, probably in the evacuation centers, in the checkpoints, mga ganun, no? But these reservists were actually compensated, no? When they were called to active duty. That's what we call them.
But they were carrying guns.
I'm not so I believe, yes. I believe that they were armed, no?
Yeah,
I believe they were armed, no? But while everybody is ready to give their lives to like any other soldier, no? Kami mga reservists, we're willing to fight for our country and die for our country. No?
So but, I think we have some footages from Marawi of that reserve battalion that went to Marawi. They were there almost the whole battle. We'll show it in a while. And maybe you can describe ito, yung AFP Reserve Command, the Marawi siege. So it's very, very interesting kasi normally yung mga regular soldiers, may sweldo yan for their training and so on. Pero yung reservists are basically volunteers. And then they were called upon, 500 of them were called upon to fight in Marawi. Pero at least dito may compensation sila.
Meron. May called to active duty sila dyan.
Did any of them get injured, would you know? Or were anyone killed in action?
Walang killed in action, but I'm not so sure, but somebody may have suffered an attack or something, but that's in the army side.
So, were there any special skills that the did the reservists bring any special skills to the battlefront?
Yes, there were some of us who were selected and were called to active duty because of yung IT. They're IT experts and they were able to assist the operations. You know, like what's shown now, I think these are drone operators. So yan yung talent nila.
Baka habi lang nila yung drone, tapos
habi nila, habi nila.
Magaling nila yung drone for surveillance.
So dun.
Pero I hope hindi naman drone nila yung dinala dito. Kasi pag na-shoot down yung drone, gastos pa nila yun.
Drone nila yan.
Drone nila, they even brought their own drone.
Dinala nila dyan.
Okay, that's really quite interesting, General. What about medical benefit? So, if during the line of training, wala ka nang compensation, you break your arm, you break your leg when you're going through that obstacle course, may kino-compensate naman yun? I mean, pinapagamot kayo?
Pinapagamot naman. Basta may order ka, you're under training, you're on duty, you're reporting, tawag namin annual duty training, then when you're covered by those orders, you are accommodated by the
How big is the AFP Reserve Force right now? How big is it?
Well, siguro may mga 900 plus thousand ngayon yan.
Wow.
That's all over. That's all the reserve force. No?
But I mean, do they go report every weekend or ano sila? Just nakalista lang sila and...
Ayan ang mahirap kasi dyan sa because we are not compensated, it's hard to maintain. But yes, marami dyan, they report every Saturday or Sunday in their respective units. Kasama dyan yung mga affiliated reserve units. These are companies, utility companies that affiliate themselves with the armed forces. So they train in their respective offices.
Okay. You're a general in the reserve force. In case there is a war, how would you assess the capability of our reserve forces to defend this country? It's quite a difficult question, but I'd like to ask you that. Your assessment lang po.
Marami tayong lessons learned during the Marawi incident. No? While all of us and while all the respective reserve units are training their men, their troops to be in war fighting, it's never it's a never-ending process that we have to keep training. No? Siyempre, pag reserve force kasi, they train on weekends or they train, sometimes they go on leave just to attend courses. No? Unlike the regular units, that's what they do every day. So, yung reserve force, they do it every weekend. So, if you want to compare us to the regular, syempre mas trained yung full-time.
Of course.
No? But
yung willingness to fight, willingness to serve for the country. You mentioned a reserve force of 900,000. In case there's an invasion, in case there's war, how many % of that force do you think will be willing to fight?
Oh, in case of war, I believe that there's more than that who will come back and even join the... No?
Let's read the text questions here. Ending 3422. Sir, may ongoing recruitment ang SAF dito sa Cadiz. How true is this, Jimmy D. of Cadiz City? SAF is
SAF
PNP
is
yan.
PNP.
Okay, so hindi po PNP sa reserve ito. Good evening. What qualifications are required na maging reservist? Thanks. Ana Cartor, babae pa, from Sipalay City.
Mayroon tayong first category which is 18 years old to 35 years old. So, high school graduate, pwede nang...
Saan? Saan sila pwede? Kunyari ito, Cadiz City.
Ito, pag Cadiz, there's probably a regional RCDG, no? Regional Defense Coordinating Office there of the Philippine Army. Then she can report there and just signify her interest that she wants to be in part of the reserve force. May mga reserve units naman dyan sa mga iba-ibang area.
So, what is the main AFP office or command that handles the reserve forces nationwide? Is there a unified command sa Camp Aguinaldo that handles this? And who is handling it?
There's a office of the Reservist and Retirees Affairs. They handle the policies and ito yung of J9, no? Tawag natin Office of the J9. But there are different reserve units like the Army, Air Force, Navy, and us, AFP Reserve Command in Aguinaldo. So depends on which part of the reserve unit you want to join. If you have skills in navigation or maritime navigation, or you own a shipyard, or you can join the Naval Reserve.
So ang ibig sabihin niyan, yung mga reservist groups na yan is under each command. I mean, under each branch of service. And then that AFP Reserve Command in Camp Aguinaldo is the... What is that? The unified command?
Right now it houses the technical services and the affiliated reserve units. No? But there may be, I think there are moves to improve how the structure is done, how the structure should be, and that's on the works. We always find ways of how to improve the organization, and I think that one is being considered.
And in case of a calamity, who's the one coordinating the movement of the reserve?
Okay, for example, yung sa amin, I'm Technical Services NCR. So I report, we are utilized by the NCR, Joint Task Force NCR. In all of the calamities, pag may bagyo, baha, we are called in to assist. No, my unit is called in to assist. So the same way with the different areas, we have unified commands, and our technical services and actually report to that unified command to help and utilized by the unified commands.
In your case, you have a rank, you're Brigadier General. Will regular Army or regular AFP respect your rank?
Yes. So, yan yung maganda naman sa ano natin, our rank is respected and recognized by both regular and reserve. So we go through the same promotion process.
You have to be confirmed also in Congress?
Yes, when I was promoted to colonel and as a general, I went through the commission on appointment. We had to submit the same documents. We also went through the board of generals. We were also selected, no?
So how many reserve generals do we have in the AFP? You're one, of course, and then
I'm one. There,
more or less lang.
more or less siguro kasi recently lang nagkaroon ng general, siguro may mga 20 na siguro or 20 or less siguro. I'm not sure.
Wow.
I'm not so.
That's good. The regular reserve soldiers, do they have to pay for their own uniform, their combat boots, or is that provided by the AFP?
Sa regular reserve. Sa reserve.
Sa reserve.
We pay for our own uniform.
Including the privates and the wow,
Yes,
that's
but,
amazing. Talagang a real sacrifice to be a member of the reserve force.
But there are moves now to provide uniforms, and I think some units, I think Air Force provide the uniform for the reservists, but I only speak for myself and for my unit.
Your unit,
so far, while we have been paying for our own uniform, I think there are moves now that to provide us with the uniform. At least one set.
In the infomercial a while ago that we showed, it showed President Duterte saying that we are going to mobilize our reserve force, di ba? And part of the infomercial showed also for the war on drugs. Has any of the reserve units been used against the war? In the war against drugs, or
Not for operations,
Not for
maybe,
operations.
no, but maybe. Of course, for example, our unit, when this campaign against the drugs came out by the ang instruction ni Presidente, go after the drug pushers. So in terms of information sharing, information gathering, we know the drug pushers in our community, so we report them. But on the positive side, we also learned all these kinds of drugs, the harmful effects of drugs. So then we go to the communities and conduct seminars and conduct outreach, community discussions on to explain the harmful effects of drugs to the youth. So yung mga ganun.
what about sir, yung the medal, the reward, the merit system? Can a reservist soldier or officer also receive the Medal of Valor? Is it possible for someone from the reserve force to be recipient of the Medal of Valor?
I would think that the Medal of Valor is situational. No? If you're placed in a situation and you are in the line of duty, and you saved your unit or you fought bravely, I would believe that you will also be given that award, because kami as a reservist, we're covered by military laws. We're covered. So when I would think that we're also covered by the award system.
What about sir? The history of reservists is actually because in the old days, the kings would conscript peasants, farmers to fight their wars. And then in the U.S., there's what's called the draft, di ba? You're forced. If you're a young man, there's a lottery, and then you get forced to fight in Vietnam or in any theater of war that they have. We're going to go for a break, but my question is this. In the Philippines, is there an enabling law that will force young men to be conscripted in case of war? Please don't go away. This is Tonino, Habana.